Now we are going to talk about how to find the percent error. All right, we're going to take a look at this particular worksheet right here. This is one that kind of comes with your textbook, and there's only a very few problems on here. So I'm going to work at least 2 examples for you and then just give you a little overview of the others so that you know what to do. And remember that you have this lovely little chart that I made for you. We talked about already finding percent change. This time we're going to talk about percent error. Percent error, you're going to take the amount of your error, and we'll go over this, and divide it by your actual amount. Let's say, you made a mistake in your estimating of a measurement or something like that. That's what you would use this for. So you will take the amount of the error and divide it by the actual real amount. All right, so let's go here. Let's look at this. Mrs. Rowan allotted 30 minutes at the beginning of class for her students to complete an exam. The last student took 42 minutes to complete the exam. What is Mrs. Rowan's percent error? She allotted 30 minutes. She figured that 30 minutes would be enough time, but it was not because someone took 42 minutes. So we're going to, again, be finding differences because we have to find, this is what it actually took, the 42 minutes, and then she allotted 30 minutes. So let's find the difference between those two. Let's say 42 minus 30, and that equals to 12. Now let's look at this. The amount of error over the actual amount. So the actual amount that it took was the 42 minutes. So let's go back here, and we're taking the amount of error, and we're going to divide that by the actual amount that it took, which was 42 minutes. All right, we get a pretty big number here. Now, it says round to the nearest 100th of a percent if needed. Well, first of all, remember when we change your decimal to a percent, you move it 2 places to the right. So that would be 28.57. All right, but you can also say times 100, so you can see it a little easier on here. Now, you're going to round it to the nearest 100th of a percent. Well, 100th place, this is tenths, this is hundredths. Well, we have a 1 after that. So because it's a 1, we're going to leave it alone, and we're going to say it is 28.57%. So it's 28.57, and this one will let you put the percent sign on there. I think the other word she did too. All right. Anyway, 28.57%. Now, let's clear this out. Now, number 2 says, Harper needs to mail an envelope. She weighs it at home as 10.4 ounces. When she gets to the post office, the clerk weighs it in at 9.6 ounces. What is the percent error in the weight of the envelope? Well, first we have to find the difference. So let's take our 10.4 and subtract 9.6, because that would be the difference. 10.4 minus 9.6. So her scale weighed it 0.8 of an ounce bigger than what the post office weighed it at. Now, the actual amount was 9.6, remember? Because we have to go by what they say, 9.6. So we take the difference, or the amount of the error, and we divide it by 9.6. That equals 0.08333333 all the way down. Now, remember that we move our decimal 2 places to the right, so that would be 8.3 that goes on forever. And it says to round to the nearest 100th. All right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to multiply this so that you can see where the decimal goes when we move it 2 places, times 100. Now, we have to have 2 places past the decimal because we're rounding to the nearest 100. So we got a 3, 3, and then it's 3 forever. But since this 3 is less than 5, we're just going to leave it alone, and we're going to say it is 8.33%. So we're going to type 8.33%. All right, all of these work exactly the same. You have to find the difference, and then you have to divide it by the actual amount, not what the person who did it was, whatever they came up with that was wrong, but by the actual amount. All right, we're going to take a look and talk about this one on number 3, but I'm going to let you solve it on your own. It says an airline ticket states that the flight takes 2 hours and 45 minutes. The flight time is actually 2 hours and 54 minutes. Now, you can find the difference in the number of these since they both were 2 hours and then it's your minutes that are different. You can say 54 minus 45. Now, if it was a different number of hours, you would have to convert it to where they were all the same unit, like change your hours to minutes and then add those and all that good stuff. But because we just differ by a few minutes here, because 54 minus 45, 9 minutes. Okay, so there was 9 minutes difference in the flight. Now, it says, what is the percent error in the flight time? Now, when you're using the actual amount, you actually have to use this 2 hours and 54 minutes. Now, you can't put that into a division problem. So you've got to change this 2 hours to minutes and then add it to the 54. So 2 hours at 60 minutes per hour, 2 hours is 120 minutes. And 120 minutes plus 54 minutes is 174 minutes. So you're going to have to use 174 for the number of minutes. So we have a 9-minute difference, and we're going to divide that by 174 minutes. And that gives us 0.05172 and going on. All right, so if we move our decimal 2 places to the right, that's 5.17%. But just to show you, we're going to multiply times 100. And then we're going to make sure we have 2 places past the decimal because we're rounding to the nearest 100th. So we're going to go 1, 2, 2 places past the, or we're not moving anything, but 2 places past is 17, and then, or the 7. And the 2 after it tells us that we leave it alone. So this is 5.17%. Now, I am going to leave you to work the last 3 problems on your own so that you can try these by yourself. All right, so we're going to stop the recording. Remember that you have this chart that you can look at if you need help. Here's percent change at the top. Percent error is what you're doing on this page, and it's right here. So you need to be able to look at that if you need to. And I am going to stop the recording now.